Most students lose marks on percentages, especially these type of questions. Let's go through the ones that come up most years. So in this question, we're asked to find 15% of £240. The best way of doing this is breaking it down into easy to manage chunks. So take the 15% and make it a 10% and a 5%. So there we have it, 240 divided by 10, that is just 24. And the key here is to understand that 5% is half of 10%. So we're actually dividing that by 2, which means we do the same the other side. So now we get 5% equals 12. So 15% is just the 24 plus the 12, which gives us £36. So there we have it, non-calculator method, finding 15% of 240. On the calculator paper, you could do exactly the same method, but normally the percentage is slightly more challenging. So 15% is just 15 divided by 100. So in your calculator, just type 15 divided by 100, multiply that by the quantity, which is £240, and you will get the exact same answer of £36. A very simple process. If you follow this, you should never get this sort of percentage question wrong. So a quick recap. Non-calculator method to find 15%, just split it into simple percentages like 10s and 5s, or 25% or 50%. With a calculator, don't be afraid of putting it all in one calculation. This second question looks a lot harder, but really it's not. The key word is increase. Now what that means is you are having the £80 and you are going to add 12% of £80 to that amount. Now that is the key bit. And again, it's understanding that with the increase, you're adding to the £80. Note if you have a decrease here instead, you would be taking the amount away from £80. So let's just deal with the finding 12% of 80. We do that in the same way we did before. We're going to find 10% first of all. Well, 80 divided by 10 is 8. Okay, so now we need to find 2%. We could just find 2%, but in this case, I think it would be quicker and easier to find two lots of 1%. And the reason why I say that is because we are dividing this by 10. We're dividing 10% by 10 to get 1%. So if you divide £8 by 10, you get 80 pence. And obviously that will be the same. And now you add those together to get the 12%, which in this case is £9.60. So this is where most students lose marks. They write down the answer is £9.60, and that is not the answer. It's only part of the answer. We have now got to take that £9.60 and add it to the original £80 because we're increasing it by 12%. So here we go, 80 plus £9.60 is £89.60, and that is your answer. Let's have a look how you would do it if you were using a calculator. You could do it exactly the same way. There's not a problem with that. But actually, there's a really quick method for this, and it's called the multiplier method. Now, the key thing here is to understand that we're adding 12% of 80 onto the original amount, which was 100%. What we have now is 100% plus the 12%, which means we are looking for 112%. Remember, percent means divided by 100. If you put that in your calculator, you get 1.12, and now that is called your multiplier. All we need to do now is multiply the original amount, £80, by that amount. If you put that in your calculator, it will go straight to £89.60. Just be careful, because if that word says decrease, not increase, that will be a subtraction there. So it will be 100% minus, in this case, 12%. So that would give you 88%, and your multiplier would be 0.88. This is a great method with the calculator. In this question, after a 20% decrease, a new price is £56, and we need to find the original price. Before we even think about this question, we need to understand what is the price worth as a percentage now. Well, it starts off at 100% and we are decreasing it by 20%. So now our amount is worth 80%, and that is what the £56 represents. So we know that the 80% is equal to £56. But we don't want 80%, we want the original amount, which is 100%. So in this case, I need to find what that additional 20% was worth. So in order to turn the 80 into 20, I just divide by 4. So I take the 56, I divide that by 4, and I will get what 20% is worth. As it's a non-calculated paper, I'll do that sum over here. I know that 20% is worth £14. So therefore, the original amount is equal to the £56, which is 80%, plus the 20% that was knocked off, which is £14, and that gives us a total of £70. Let's have a look how you would do it if you were using a calculator. So we know that the £56 is 80%. We also know that 80% is 80 over 100, and that is 0.8. So all we do now is we take the quantity that we've got and we divide it by 0.8. Put that straight in your calculator and you will get the amount of £70. Finally, this question is normally done badly. You need to just remember to make sure you work out what the quantity is really worth. If it's been decreased or increased, it is no longer 100%. In our case, it's 80%. If that was an increase, it would be more than 100%. Please like the video and subscribe.